Hello and a very warm welcome to Vita Prime Health for Seniors. I'm Victoria Langford and I'm speaking to you today from my home in Cambridge, where I've spent my life immersed in the fascinating world of health, wellness, and the art of growing older with grace and vitality. It's a true joy to have you here with me. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is so deeply personal, so intimate, that it often feels difficult to discuss. It's a subject that can bring up feelings of vulnerability and, at times, a quiet sense of pressure, but it is absolutely fundamental to a rich and fulfilling life. We're going to talk about sexual health and intimacy as we age. In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded with a single, often narrow version of what sex should look like. There is a glorification of certain ideals, particularly around how long sex should last, and this puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on us. This can have a very real and detrimental impact on our relationships and our lives. The things we hear about sex are not always accurate, especially when it comes to the numbers and the performance metrics. These misconceptions can lead to a silent sense of anxiety and inadequacy, making us feel like we are alone in a struggle that is, in fact, incredibly common. I want you to know that if you have ever felt this way, you are absolutely not alone. My goal for this conversation is to give you a new perspective, one that is both evidence-based and deeply human, so that you can reframe this topic in a way that is empowering and liberating. I want you to listen all the way to the end, because the most crucial information, the steps you can take today to foster a truly fulfilling and intimate life, are waiting for you in the final 3/4 of this episode. We're going to get to the true data on what is average, and more importantly, why the numbers themselves are the least important part of the story. Before we go any further, I'd love for you to ask a question. What's one piece of advice you've heard or a question you've always had about sexual health or intimacy that you've been afraid to ask? Please feel free to share it in the comments below, and let's start building a community of open, honest conversation. Now let's address that big question that so many of us wonder about. What is the average length of intercourse? You might have heard so many different numbers from different sources, but much of that isn't based on solid science. However, a large study of 500 couples from around the world actually provided some true, timed data on this very topic. Before we get to the number, it's important to define what sex means in the context of this particular study. In this study, sex was defined as penetrative intercourse. From the initial point of penetration to the end of it, it did not include foreplay. That doesn't mean that's what sex should mean for you, but that's how the researchers defined it for the purpose of their data. So what did they find? The study showed that the average length of intercourse was 5.7 minutes. That's it. It's a far cry from the numbers we often see in films or hear about from friends. There was a wide range, of course, from as short as 0.1 minutes to about 55 minutes, so there is a great deal of natural variation. It's also interesting to note that the data varied by location, with Turkey having the lowest average at 4.4 minutes and the UK having the longest at about 10 minutes. Now I want to pause here. I don't want you to put too much stock in these numbers. While they are fascinating from a scientific perspective, the truth is, the most important thing is not a number, but whether you and your partner are satisfied. The glorification of a specific number or the belief that something is wrong if you don't meet a certain time can create a lot of unnecessary pressure and a sense of failure. This brings us to a larger, more encompassing issue that many of us face as we get older, a general feeling of decline. Maybe you feel a little less energy than you used to. Perhaps your body doesn't bounce back from a long day as quickly as it once did. This is a quiet, subtle process that many of us simply accept as just part of getting older. But what if there was a way to support your body's natural ability to renew and repair itself from the inside out? Our bodies are composed of trillions of cells. These cells are the basic building blocks of all living things. They provide structure, take in nutrients, convert those nutrients into energy, and carry out specialized functions. At the heart of our body's renewal and repair process are something called stem cells. They're often referred to as the body's master cells. They have the incredible ability to duplicate endlessly and to become cells of any tissue or organ in the body that needs renewal or repair. Stem cells are released from your bone marrow and travel through your bloodstream to all your organs and tissues to promote the body's natural process of renewal and repair. There is a direct correlation between the number of circulating stem cells and the ability of the body to reach and maintain optimal health. As we age, this natural process can slow down, and our circulating stem cell count can decrease. That's where Stem Active comes in. Stem Active is a premium stem cell supplement designed to support your body's natural processes. It contains powerful ingredients that have been studied and proven to increase the number of stem cells circulating in your body. For example, a specific variety of aloe, Madagascan aloe macroclada, has been clinically proven to produce, on average, an increase of 40% in the number of circulating stem cells. It also includes Tibetan sea buckthorn extract, which has been scientifically researched and documented to trigger the mobilization of bone marrow stem cells. When you support your body's foundation, you support your overall health and vitality. To learn more about Stem Active, scan the QR code on your screen right now, or find the product information in the description. Again, that's Stem Active, a premium stem cell supplement. Now, let's get back to our conversation about intimacy. The most important lesson is that communication with your partner is everything. No matter what the data says, it's crucial to talk with your partner about their expectations and what they truly enjoy in a sexual relationship. It's different for each and every person, and in order for you to have a fulfilling sex life, you must communicate and always be open with one another. This goes far beyond just the act of penetration. It's about foreplay, touch, shared moments of laughter, and the simple act of holding hands. It's about a deep, authentic connection that is built over a lifetime, not just in a single moment. I can't tell you how many times I've sat with couples who were so focused on a single performance metric that they completely lost sight of the vast landscape of intimacy. They had stopped communicating because they felt like failures. But once they started talking, once they opened up and shared their true feelings, they were able to reconnect in ways they hadn't in years. They found that a shared laugh, a long hug, or a simple handhold was often more fulfilling than a perfect performance. It's important to remember that intimacy is a spectrum. On one end, you have the physical act of sex. On the other, you have the emotional connection, the vulnerability, and the shared history that binds two people together. And both ends of this spectrum are vital to a healthy, happy life. When we focus on the numbers, we miss the richness of the experience. We miss the opportunity to learn and grow with our partners. We miss the chance to create something truly beautiful together. I want you to think about that. What does intimacy mean to you personally, outside of a number or a performance? It's a powerful question, and I encourage you to think about it and maybe share your thoughts in the comments below. The data on what women want is also fascinating, but it comes with a big caveat. There is no good scientific study on this. But in a poll done by a website of 4,000 women, what they found was that the average length of time women desire to have penetrative intercourse was 25 minutes. Again, this is variable from person to person, so I wouldn't put too much stock in these numbers. The poll wasn't a scientific study, and it only represents a small fraction of the population. The most important takeaway is to understand what is normal, what is average, and if you are reaching average, that's great. More importantly, it's about what works for you and your partner. Another key component of intimacy is your overall health. Sexual health is not a separate category. It is deeply intertwined with your physical and emotional well-being. This includes managing your stress, getting enough sleep, and having a healthy diet and exercise routine. These factors all contribute to your libido, your energy levels, and your overall sense of vitality. When you feel good in your body, you feel more confident and connected. I've had patients come to me with concerns about their sexual health, and sometimes the solution isn't a pill or a procedure. It's a conversation about stress management. It's about finding time to be active in a way that feels good to their body. It's about prioritizing their emotional health and having open conversations with their partners. For those of you who might be having difficulties with premature ejaculation or delayed ejaculation, make sure you make an appointment with a urologist. These are real medical conditions, and there are effective treatments available. Another great resource is seeing a sex therapist. They can help you and your partner navigate the emotional and psychological aspects of these challenges and work through any communication issues you might be having. I've seen firsthand the benefits of a holistic approach to sexual health. It's not just about the numbers or the performance, it's about feeling confident, connected, and truly alive. It's about making an effort to be intimate with your partner, and it's important to remember that not everyone wants to have sex all the time, but there is so much value in intimacy. In my career, I've seen that the men and women who have the most fulfilling lives are the ones who prioritize their health in a holistic way. They understand that their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are all connected. They are not afraid to be vulnerable with their partners. They are open to learning and growing, and they understand that a fulfilling life is not a destination, it's a journey. The bottom line is this: a healthy and fulfilling sexual life is a key component of a happy and healthy life as a senior. It's not about being perfect, and it's certainly not about trying to live up to some unrealistic ideal. It's about communication, authenticity, and intimacy. It's about being present with your partner and cherishing the connection you have. Your body is a masterpiece, and it's meant to be celebrated. Thank you for trusting me with this important conversation. If this episode resonated with you, I would be so honored if you would hit that subscribe button right now. Your support ensures that we can continue to have these conversations that truly matter. And if you know someone, a cherished friend, or a valued family member, who might find comfort, inspiration, or a new perspective from this episode, please share it with them. Your sharing helps us reach a larger community dedicated to thriving at every age.